if you thinking about starting a new business, or if you just started a new business, I got some game for you. I got a hack for you that can help get you closer to a success level without you, wasting a bunch of time on something that may not work. And this hack or this logic that you should be using can apply to any type of business that you starting, in any industry that you starting. I see a lot of people start businesses or come up with ideas to make a t-shirt line, or some other random idea, and they like, yo, it's about to go crazy, and then they make it, and then they see that it isn't going how they planned or how they thought it would, and it's because they went into it with the wrong motivation or the wrong intention. The whole motivation was to make money, and now they're not making money, so they don't know what to do, or they don't want to do it anymore, because the money isn't coming in. So I just want to give you some advice, some game on just a shift of your perspective. If you just started a business, if you're running a business, or if you're thinking about starting a business or some new idea that you want to make money off of, I just want to shift your perspective and give you some game that will help you long term, so that you don't tap out and give up when the money ain't rolling in, right? So basically, the thought process that I believe you should have going into starting a new business would be, how can I serve people? How can I help people? How can I make people's lives easier? How can I solve a problem in people's lives? These are things that you should be asking yourself when starting a new business, starting a new business venture. Ask yourself these questions and make it not about you, and make it not about you making money, and make it about people, helping people and serving people. Make that the mission, no matter what the business is that you're going into, right? For example, let's just say I see a lot of young cats starting clothing brands right now. We do see clothing brands that do really well and go crazy, but there's millions of clothing brands that we never hear of, that never made it, where people gave up or they lost money, right? So for every one successful one that you see, it might be a million that didn't work that you don't see, right? So don't only focus on the ones that did work. There are a lot that didn't work, and they're never going to tell you, why it didn't work, or what they did wrong, or why they quit and why they gave up, right? Their motivation a lot of times is the money. I want to start a clothing brand to make a bunch of money, and then I'm going to be rich and I'm going to leave off in my private jet. And when that's the motivation, it's tough to sustain long term, because if ain't no money coming in, you're not motivated anymore, right? Or you're ready to give up, right? Because nobody wants to buy your clothes, because you only made the clothes to try and make some money. So instead of the money being the motivation, if you about to start a t-shirt line or a clothing brand, think about how you can solve a problem in people's lives, or how you can help people, or how you can serve people with your clothing brand, right? It could be the story behind the brand, right? It could be, I'm making this clothing brand for people who suffer with whatever illness. This is just an example, right? I'm making this clothing brand with the people in mind that are dealing with this issue, right? I want to make these type of people feel better when they wear my clothes, right? Solving a problem in people's lives, or making them feel good about wearing the clothes, right? What is your mission when you are going into this clothing brand? It got to be more than just you slapping your logo on a t-shirt and then expecting people to buy it, right? Expecting people to part ways with their hard-earned money for your t-shirt brand with some random logo that no one cares about, that don't look sweet, right? Exclude yourself. A lot of times when people go into businesses, they think about themselves only. They think about their interests only. But in reality, you need people in order for your business to be successful. You need people to buy into it. You need people to spend their money on whatever this thing is that you're trying to sell. And if people are seeing your product and they don't care about it, or it doesn't help them in any way, it doesn't serve them in any way, they will have no reason to spend their money on your product. So don't let the money be the motivation, right? Yes, you need the money, but the money is going to come if you are focusing on serving people and bettering people's lives and helping people's lives and making people's lives easier. Another example, right? I've been doing events for the past 8+ years, right? I have a very successful event company in my city. And when I first started doing events, I didn't go into the events with the mindset of I'm going to do events to make money, right? I had the initial idea that I see an area in my city that's like that has a void, right? I see creatives, I see artists, I see musicians that don't have a voice or a platform to express themselves, right? And so I thought of an idea like, man, what if I got like different creatives, right? Got a few different creatives, put them all in one room, right? But keep that room a secret, right? We don't know where the venue is going to be. We don't know where the event is going to take place, right? We're going to have a limited amount of tickets, and whoever gets one gets in. And if you don't get one, you don't get in. And then the people that get in, they experience whatever this thing is, right? And in my head, I want people who don't have a platform, who don't have a big following, I want those people to be able to still put on a show, right? So I created this whole idea with the thought of helping others, right? Helping other creatives that don't have a platform or that don't have a voice or that don't have a following, right? Helping them to grow their following, and they get paid for it, right? So it was never about the money. And when I did my very first event, it did really, really well. It did really well. It sold out actually, right? And I continue to do those, right? Another example of an event that I do with my business partner, we do like poetry and comedy events, right? But we went into it with the mindset of there's a void, right? So we're not just doing any old poetry and comedy, right? They're targeted towards couples and relationships and spicing up the relationship. So we have a specific theme for our events, right? So again, with the thought of helping people or leaving people with dope memories with their loved ones, with their husbands and their wives, that's the experience we want to provide for these people. Again, it wasn't about the money. And again, it did really well, right? So just giving examples of going into a business venture with the people in mind instead of the money in mind. The money is going to come if you can really change people's lives, if you can really help serve people. Let that be, how can I serve you? How can I serve the people? If you can figure that out, and then you can actually change people's lives, the money is going to come. So just keep that in mind, man. Just keep that in mind. Anytime I've went into a business venture with the thought of I want to make some money, it typically didn't pan out how I wanted it to. But anytime, and that was previous before I developed this mindset, but anytime I go into it with the thought of, man, what's another area where I can help people or I can impact people's lives? What's another area I can do that? How can I do that? When I come and I go into it with that mindset, it always works for me because I'm helping someone. You know what I'm saying? So again, clothing brand, app idea, a YouTube channel, whatever the case may be, how can I serve people? Let that be something that you keep in your mind, that you jot down on your whiteboard or whatever it is that you use to jot down your ideas. Let that be one of the things that you incorporate, because it's going to change your perspective on how you're going to approach this new business that you're making. If you're not going into it with just money as the motivation, it's going to shift your perspective, and it's probably going to change a few things in your business model. It's probably going to change a few things, right? When you're looking at it from the lens of the customer instead of from your own lens. A lot of times things that you think is cool, a lot of other people don't think is cool, you know? Like, just because you think this t-shirt with the duck wearing a hat with a book bag on, you think it's so cool, that doesn't mean the masses are going to think that is cool as well. And if you don't have a story attached to this brand where it's like, I'm making these because of this, people aren't going to, the masses aren't going to buy into it, right? You're getting people to part ways with their hard-earned money. If all you care about is just getting them to part ways and they're not getting nothing in return that helps them or changes their life, it's going to be a difficult sale every time. But if they see the value that they are getting, now it's a lot easier for them to come out their pocket and hang you some money. So just keep that in mind, man. If this video helped at all, hit the subscribe button down below. Join my Patreon, man. I got a lot more game like this that I can give. Hit the like button, hit the share button, leave a comment below if you experienced any of this, or if you have any more questions. You can shoot me an email as well, gametoliveby@gmail.com. And I got more videos on the way, man. Peace.